Hello, my name is Jasmine Iglesias and I'm here to tell you about the Sarapiqui Conservation Learning Center. But first, I want to start off by telling you about the area we are located in. Costa Rica is located in the Central American Isthmus, lying between latitudes 8 and 12 degrees north of the equator. It has been ranked at the top of lists regarding development and environmental sustainability in the Latin American region and in the Americas as a whole. Unfortunately, there is still a growing rate of poverty and unemployment in this beautiful country. Although the Costa Rican economy has been fueled by its three main cash crops of coffee, bananas, and pineapple, it has been very successful in the area of tourism, more specifically, ecotourism. Sarapiqui is located in the province of Heredia, located just north of the capital of San Jose, and extends north to the Nicaraguan border. Sarapiqui is one of the largest cantons of Costa Rica in regards to physical area, but it is also one of the poorest. In contrast to the province's capital city of Heredia, which is just minutes away from the center of San Jose, Sarapiqui is separated from these two major cities by a huge mountain range known as the Central Volcanic Corridor. It wasn't until the 1980s that a more direct route from San Jose was built, which included a tunnel through the mountains. Highway 32 shortened the trip to just over an hour. Prior to the construction of this highway, the journey was very indirect and would take several hours over very rough terrain. Sarapiqui is located in the northern lowlands where it is very hot and humid year-round. The canton was recognized by law in 1970. Before this time, there was very little inhabitants in the region because of its location and isolation from the Central Valley. After the arrival of the banana plantations to the area, and now pineapple, the population has been growing rapidly. Many families migrated to this area from the San Carlos region to work and settle the lands. However, they arrived in the form of squatters, which means that they did not have legal title to the mostly foreign-owned and abandoned lands. Many residents of the area still, to this day, live on land that is not identified by official documents. Other than bananas and pineapples, others arrive in Sarapiqui to do research. We are home to many private and public reserves and have been identified as one of the most biodiverse places in the world, with the most various number of species of birds in a concentrated area, not to mention the frogs, the bats, and all the unique bugs. At the center of all of this is what I believe to be the main attraction, the amazing Sarapiqui River, where most tourists enjoy adventuring with a whitewater rafting trip surrounded by nature's glory. The river is the main source of recreation for the locals here, and during the weekdays the river edges and swimming holes are very quiet, but on Sundays you will find most families frolicking and, well, just cooling off. Now on to our very special center. The Sarapiqui Conservation Learning Center started off as an idea in the early 1990s as a way to link visitors to the area with the local people in order to provide an educational exchange. That idea evolved and took a physical form when many talents came together and a building was erected on the eastern edge of the Selva Verde Reserve's property. This idea was to make this place accessible to locals and foreigners as a library and place where education and conservation came together in the promotion of community development. Locally, the center is known as SCLC. Legally, it is a non-government and not-for-profit association registered in both Costa Rica and the United States. In the almost 20 years of its existence, SCLC has hosted hundreds of foreign volunteers, all of which have initiated and run very valuable programs. Some of the most notable accomplishments of the past have been receiving school supplies from visitors and donating packages at the beginning of every year to the most needy young students. A high school scholarship program that pairs students with a specific donor to cover the extra costs of attending high school, such as transportation, uniforms, and school supplies. An English as a foreign language program that has allowed for many of the youth of the area to become viable in the naturalist and tourism fields. The construction of a sidewalk along the very dangerous highway that links the children of several communities to the center. After-school activities for children who are only in school for 3 to 4 hours a day due to the shortage of teachers and physical space. A reforestation project that has put over 10,000 native and endangered trees into the ground over the last 5 years. And we have coordinated hundreds of service projects to renovate and expand local schools. More specifically, the groups that have fundraised and come to visit us with Mr. Bagshaw were the groups responsible for the creation of the sidewalk, funding 2 students for 5 years of high school, the donation of 6 desktop computers for the Learning Center, and helping a very rural and poor school rebuild their bathrooms, the student hall, and classroom for their kindergarten, not to mention the hundreds of trees they plant during their visit. For 2014 and into the future, we are restructuring our approach to create a more organized and lasting impact in this wonderful community. We have been working to strengthen and build local and national partnerships to create long-standing results. For example, the National System of Public Libraries has recognized us as a semi-public library and has donated hundreds of Spanish books. We are enhancing our English curriculum by working together with UNA, the National University of Costa Rica. And the Ministry of Science and Technology has donated 6 more computers to create a community computer lab with the intent to give classes on basic computer literacy to everyone in the community. We will still be receiving and putting international volunteers to work on all our programs, but our hopes are to get the infrastructure in place where there can be a full-time local staff working on keeping the center running and progressing year after year. In the initial years of the center was run by only a volunteer staff and very sporadic and few donations. More recently, the Rural Community Tourism Program was started to not only help the community develop tourism activities and boost their personal economies, but also to make profits from the tourism activities so that the center had a main source of funding to keep the operations running. In the tourism program, we offer guests really natural settings to exchange with the local people of Sarapiqui through dance classes, cooking classes, and local arts and crafts classes. We arrange visits to farms and schools and talks with local community members. We actually coordinate larger activities like community service projects, where visitors donate the funds for materials, and when they arrive, they also donate their labor to a project at a local school or other community-based need. Another part of the tourism program is the Reforestation Project, where visitors donate their time to planting trees as part of an initiative within the San Juan La Selva biological corridor. The need for this organized conservation initiative is due to mass deforestation that occurred prior to the 1990s. And now there are only patches of forests in our area of the country. Most of these patches are protected lands. What we are trying to do is connect these patches of land by ways of corridors, serving as passageways for the wildlife that depend on the forests as their habitats. So again, in 2014, we will be organizing and formalizing our library. We will be creating library programming like reading hours, movie nights, and conservation-themed activities. We will be offering computer courses and other workshops based on the community needs. We will be focused on fundraising to make sure that our operations are always sustained. Of course, we will continue to offer our adult EFL program and will enhance our English for Kids program. And we will continue our tourism program with hopes on offering more custom packages for schools and organizations that visit us year after year. One of the many challenges we face in executing our programs and reaching the people who most need it is transportation. As I mentioned before, we are a very rural community. The center is located on the only paved highway that runs through the area, halfway between the main towns of Puerto Viejo and La Virgen. Although there is now a sidewalk that runs about 3 kilometers east from the center, a lot of the children cannot make the walk on their own. The public transportation is not free and has limited hours. Mostly because of the school children we want to reach, it would be very beneficial if the center has a way of transporting the students to the center on a daily, weekly, or monthly schedule. This would allow us to reach more of the community and the ones that have less resources because they live farther away from the main road. Up until now, it has been very difficult for the center to run its programs with no access to transportation. Meaning, it is very difficult to do all the purchasing necessary for the overall daily operations, reforestation projects, and service projects. not to mention making it to meetings with very important partners in order to keep moving forward with our goals.
Hola, soy de Sarapiqui, me llamo Joaquín, tengo 16 años y me gustaría que ustedes vinieran aquí. Me gusta el centro, hay buena gente y les deseo que vengan aquí muy pronto. Y usen las compus, muy buenas aquí, me gusta usarlas a mí y muchas gracias.
Pura vida.
Pura vida.
Buenos días, mi nombre es Joseph, tengo 11 años. Me gusta venir al centro porque nos deja usar las compus. También he aprendido mucho. He aprendido cosas que no he podido encontrar en otras cosas, en otros lados. Me gusta el centro porque he aprendido muchas cosas. La letra mía era muy fea. Aquí la mejoré mucho. Aquí yo aprendí a leer principalmente. Los esperamos y gracias por ayudarnos en todo y adiós.
The Sarapiqui Conservation Learning Center's mission has always been to link the community to conservation through education and tourism. Our vision is to empower the people of Sarapiqui through the access to knowledge and the promotion of sustainable lifestyles. We look forward to meeting you in person. We thank you for all of your support in whichever way you choose to support us. And we'll see you next year. Pura vida.